Hope you all are hale and happy and taking very good care of yourself. Welcome to Session 4, Social Studies, Paper 2, Chapter 17, Independent India, the First 30 Years, 1947 to 1977. Today we are going to learn the succession, anti-Hindi agitation, and Green Revolution. The succession. With Nehru's death in 1964, critics raised doubts as to whether democracy itself would survive or would it lose its democratic ethos like other countries. After the death of Jawaharlal Nehru in 1964, there was a lot of confusion and a lot of doubts were arose in the minds of the not only the people, even in the other countries also, because as Jawaharlal Nehru, he was a charismatic personality. He was a visionary leader. After his death, it rose a lot of doubts in the mind of the people whether the democracy will be continue or it's going to be get end in India. But however, the Congress managed a successful transition by choosing Lal Bahadur Shastri as its leader in the government. Shastri was immediately put to test with a series of issues which challenged the fundamental values and goals of the Indian nation. Though he was get appointed, he was get as Lal Bahadur Shastri became a successor of after the death of Jawaharlal Nehru by the government. But when he became a successor, he has to face a lot of challenges. First one is the anti-Hindi agitation led by the DMK in the south, which threatened the goals of unity and integrity. Second important challenge was there was a shortage of food, which came in the way of social and economic transformation, and war Pakistan in 1965. So when Lal Bahadur Shastri, though he too have a very good vision for India, but still when he came to an office, when he hold his authority, he has to face a series of challenges. Indira Gandhi succeeded Shastri as prime minister after his untimely death in 1966. Though his period was short, but he has emerged as one of the greatest leaders of India. Lal Bahadur Shastri, a visionary leader after Jawaharlal Nehru. Anti-Hindi agitation. When the Official Language Act was passed in 1963, the DMK believed it was an attempt to foist Hindi on the rest of the country. Foist means unnecessarily imposing Hindi on the southern or South Indian people. Foist Hindi on the rest of the country, and they began a statewide campaign protesting the imposition of Hindi. As most of the South Indians, they are following the Dravidian language where they're having different phonetics. Pronunciation is quite different with the Sanskrit or Hindi words. So they feel that making Hindi as a national language, as they are just imposing it unnecessarily. So for against this, they have started strikes, dharnas, hartals, and they started burning of effigies, Hindi books as well as pages of the constitution and Hindi signboards all was get blackened at that time during the agitation. The Congress itself was divided between pro-Hindi and anti-Hindi camps. In Congress itself, some of the leaders are supporting that Hindi should be imposed as a national language, and some are just supporting even that regional language also should be get priority. Some felt that the unity of the country was at stake. They are just feeling that if we are imposing, if they are making Hindi as a compulsory language for the legal documents, it make a boundary. They are not giving a chance, or if you are avoiding, if you are not giving a consideration to the other language, maybe it just make a boundary towards the, or it shows a threat for the unity and integrity of India. Here you can see in the slide, they are protesting with the placard, Stop Hindi Imposition. Another placard is unity is in lingual equality, not in Hindi imposition. Finally, when things seemed to be going out of hand, Lal Bahadur Shastri, though he supported the pro-Hindi stand made a series of concessions to assuage the feelings of the anti-Hindi camp. These included, among others, the right of each state to have a language of its own, which could be the regional language, or English communication could be in the regional language with English translations. English would continue to be the communication language between the center and the states, and the civil service exams would be conducted in English rather than Hindi alone. So when the things went out of the control, Lal Bahadur Shastri come to a conclusion that he has started giving a concession for the languages. Definitely Hindi will be a national language, but all the legal documents which will be written between the center and the state government should be in a regional language with English translation. English will be a key to the world, so English will be a main communication language, as well as the civil service exam would be conducted in English rather than Hindi alone. So, whatever the civil services exam paper will be there, instead of Hindi, either it should be get printed with the regional language and in a English. English is compulsory. Whatever the legal documents are there, it should be written in English. Here again, we see how a popular social movement forced the government of the day to reconsider the official position. So, as the prime minister, being a prime minister, because we have seen in the case of the state reorganization, as Jawaharlal Nehru was not he was not in a favor of a linguistic division of a state, but as it prove it's not only just divide in India, definitely it makes strong, because every language and every culture is having its own priority, its own charisma. So even in the same way, when imposing Hindi as a national language, it given even a chance to the other regional languages also to get flourish. But definitely English is a communicative, or the all the transactions or all the legal documents should be having English as a priority. Now, another as how to overcome with the shortage of food. For this, a green revolution has been initiated, from a grain deficient nation to food security for all. The debate regarding the developmental strategy was not simply an economic one, but also had political implications. While Nehru and the left of center group within the Congress favored the state control and institutional strategy in agriculture, there was a right of center faction which was opposed to state control. Now there is a need to have a self sufficiency in a food production. So once it became clear that the existing strategy was not increasing food production, because we have seen in the first 5-year plan they have given a priority to the agriculture, and they are having the different land reforms to provide the land for to the landless people and all that, which can get or increase in the food production. But this strategy was not helpful in the till 1967, and this attempted to secure the cooperation of the state government as well as increase food production. So central government has been initiated with the green revolution program, whether even the state government should also have the land reforms, as well as they should be having a cooperatives to provide the hybrid seeds, good quality of a variety of seeds, as well as fertilizers and pesticides, to have a better production or increase in food production. In a way, it also reflected the changes in economic policy after Nehru's death, and also the changes in economic thinking, because agriculture is always a priority in India. So, if we are focusing on agriculture, if we are having a self sufficiency in food production, though they are producing, though till 1964 to 67 they are just producing, but it's not having a surplus production that we can started importing, exporting to the other, where can we get increase in a revenue. So there is a need to have a green revolution. For this, the irrigation, instead of they just have to construct canals, irrigation, especially the dripping irrigation and all that has to be introduced for the more production or increase in food production. Green revolution in India, it brought this program bring a change that India became a self-sufficient in food production? Let us have a quick recap, children. Today we have learned the succession, anti-Hindi agitation, Green Revolution. Time for home assignment. You have to write, is there a need for a national language? Why? And second question is, should all languages have equal status? Why? Thank you.